And a very good evening, East Africa. Welcome to yet a brand new and also exciting week of The Desk. Now more than ever, I'm yours truly, Shadrach Shagaf Kisame. And guess what? This week is another one. We're going to be dealing more with the Ugandan economy and stock markets. You know, there's so much that has been going around stock markets. Abafere, what? Usually it's because you have no information, but today The Desk has made sure that we bring you up close and personal with this kind of information, stock markets and how that tethers in the Ugandan economy. And I'm telling you, the man in the chair, Mr. Tim Joshua, he's been here before, but again, he's going to be, blessing us with his knowledge in this regard. But you can follow this very lovely discussion on social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And we are broadcasting here at our home at Nile Avenue. I'm talking Nakasero Hill, UBC headquarters. But guess what? You are live on U24 television. Thank you for joining us, bro.
Thank you for having me.
It's been like what, a year, two?
2 or 3, I believe 2 or 3 years. It's quite
since,
a long.
Yeah, since you've been here.
Yeah.
What have you been up to, Tim?
I've been up to learning more about investments, the stock markets, how the economy operates, and how to achieve wealth, try to gain wealth by investing in the stock market.
Yeah, before we got on air, you were telling me how tech and investment is the way to go, and all of a sudden, the other day I had a lady who was also talking about investment, like all of a sudden the youth's attention span, in the direction of investment.
I think the youth are now realizing, because previously when we used to hear the word investment, investors, Uganda, this is an investor, we used to assume that it's a white person with a lot of money who has accumulated a lot of wealth.
Yes.
But upon realizing furthermore, when you dig furthermore into the topic, realize even with this, your small accumulated wealth, what you're earning through your salary, any other means of earning, you can put aside some little money and put it in an investment instead of trying to build a chapati store, which you have to keep on maintaining. That's also a form of investment, but this one doesn't need that day-to-day maintenance. You ask him for money, then the money is lost. This one has a system in place which you invest and then you get your returns quite easily. Yeah,
before we even talk about the financial markets and the stock markets, let's first talk about investment a little more. You're talking about someone investing in a chapati, but they still have to furnish it with bills.
Yes.
And is there an alternative where I invest and I do not have to pay bills?
That's why that's what I'm talking about, the stock market. Yes, the stock market is the way. Or getting treasury bills or bonds, that is the way. You don't have to keep on maintaining. You put the money there, then you maybe just check and follow up and see how it's behaving. So I think for this conversation to continue, I have to explain the stock market a little bit.
Right.
So basically the stock market is, as you hear, a market. A market is a place where you exchange money for something to get something of value.
Right.
So the stock market is a place in Uganda, in almost every country has, with Kenya, Rwanda, America. It's quite a broad way. But what you're purchasing in that place are shares to companies like DFCU, Stanbic, all this MTN that have put themselves. You're buying a certain percentage of ownership in them.
Joshua, how do I trust that I am buying shares in this is DFCU, Joshua? I'm from somewhere in Kotido.
I do understand the fee of that, but that's why there's a central place. We have the Ugandan stock market, and it is now it's an online platform, because previously it used to be more, you had to go with your money, you go to the I don't know, it was the CMA at that time, the regulators, then you go and give them money, then they give you a certificate that shows you have ownership of this. Just like when you're getting a loan, they give you a certain thing, you have an agreement you have signed with them, so that it shows that your details, how much you have put, how much you have to pay for this given amount of time. Right. It's the same with that, but maybe in an inverse direction.
Okay.
So you give them money, and then they give you the paper which shows that you have the stock. But now for this, if you go on Google and anywhere, you search the Ugandan stock market, the American stock market, you can see everything there, the companies which are listed, how much a share is worth, its value, and how it has been operating. Even just this year, Airtel also just joined, last year, Airtel joined the stock market. To join the stock,
so I can easily buy shares in Airtel.
Yeah, you can easily buy shares in Airtel.
But when we speak it here in English, on TV, someone watches and they're like, are you guys speaking gibberish? Like the reality of someone down in Chikubamutwe or wherever they are, Mpererwe. getting their 100K and buying shares. Like, how do we bring this close? The reality, you say, me, I'm with you now, but the reality is sinking in.
The best way I think to understand it is, that's why I brought the example of the chapati stall. Even building houses, rentals is an investment.
Yes.
You're putting money so that in the end it shall grow to a certain percentage.
Yes.
It is the same reality there. And it's regulated by the Central Market Authority. That means if there's any issue, the way also you put money in a bank, you have deposited money on a bank, and you're not going to see it. That money also has a certain interest attached to it, like 2%, 5% interest, where they'll keep on adding your money.
Is that on a normal account or fixed account?
It depends on the account. I'm not very sure, but it highly depends on the account.
So I can put my money and leave it there, and then at what point does it grow the interest?
Now that's why you have to read those documents they provide you before. The interest can be monthly, yearly. They tell you each month they're going to provide you 5% interest on your amount, on your total sum that you have put there.
Right.
So if you have put 1 million, that means 5% of 1 million, they're going to give that to you every month. So at the end of the year, it would have accumulated to a certain amount that is no longer the 1 million.
But OJ, these things that we've been doing of hand to mouth,
that is...
You get your money and you just want to eat it. That means we need to move away from this culture.
Yes, we need to move away from the culture. What I realize also, our banking structure has also been structured in a way to favor our consumption type, because we prefer short-term loans. Us as Ugandans, we're going to get the money now, and we're going to use it for either to go to the bar or to something, or to achieve something. So even our banking structure favors more of that. But if you go to the bank for longer things, there's a little bit of delay, but everything tries to structure itself based on the customer. It is the customer who dictates how the bank is going to give them money. If there's no one coming for long-term loans, they're not going to provide it. And if there are more people coming for short-term loans, they shall create more of that focus on short-term loans.
Right. Before we go for a quick break, I would want to know, let's just have a conversation around, access to financial literacy. First of all, the importance of this to people of our age, because we are the biggest number, close to 80% of the population. The access, and because most of the people that appreciate this knowledge are older guys, and then us, all we are doing is drinking and smoking. How should we appreciate this?
The best way of appreciating it is by viewing other countries and how they behave. They said do not invent the wheel. That means you don't have to create new things and a way to see things. Just look at the way other countries are doing their things. Just look at the way Kenya's stock market. Go and look at Kenya's stock market. Research more about it, and you see what impact it's doing to Kenya, how much money it's bringing to the economy and improving on Kenya's economy. And the people have invested. You first go and look at them. Forget about the TikTokers who are showing you all this lavish life. Everyone claims to be an investor, and their way of showing you investment is by showing you a big car, which is not even an asset. It's not adding more money
to you.
It's not adding money to you. It's more of a liability. It's taking your money.
Yes.
Yet an asset is something that's supposed to
generate
money. So that is the best way, I think, to appreciate it. And also look at America. America is primarily big because of its stock market. Money flows. Even me here in Uganda, I can buy Apple shares. I can buy shares in Microsoft.
But how do you trust those things? First, we are Ugandans. How do you trust those
That's why you have first check on the regulators. Therefore, they're regulated by the SEC, the Central something, but it's SEC in short. It is a board. It is quite a very big board that handles that. In case there is any mismanagement of something, they can sue. You can even send them an email from here in Uganda that these people here are doing this wrong, and they shall go and then they shall handle that problem. You shall recover back your money.
Right.
It's the same for Uganda with the Central Market Authority.
Right. Let's go for a quick break, but when we return, we'll talk about how to access this information. Where do you get this information? All the things you're telling us, like how can a normal guy down there access that information? But do not go away. We're coming back. The desk takes a break, and the desk returns in a moment. Come back, you are still live on the continent's leading intellectual platform. I'm talking none other than the desk. where intellectuality is a currency. Now, many thanks to all those who keep themselves glued onto the desk every Wednesday at 9 p.m. And those ones are like, I never miss Shadrach. Every Wednesday at 9 p.m. we are here, and the repeats are tomorrow, Thursday at 2:30 p.m. Make sure that you catch the repeat, and for those who missed, make sure that you tell them to tune in live onto U24 television. But follow us on our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Do that for Shadrach Kisame, the desk everywhere, and make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow, you know, and tap that notification bell for YouTube to make sure that in case we put up something, you'll definitely be the first to know. But the man in the chair, you know, he's done his groundwork. He knows what he's talking about. And for you, you know, all of us are being, you know, attracted, and we are gravitating towards investment. But it's so important to gravitate to what you know. Now, Team Joshua is here giving us knowledge on stock markets, financial markets. So important that you know that. Now, the access to this information, where do I find this information? Do I just go to YouTube and type in, or do I go to Google and type in? How exactly do I access authentic information?
I do understand your point. When you said authentic information, we live in an era of disinformation, and a lot of people are saying a lot of things. But I believe if you get your information from multiple sources, you first begin by going to YouTube, you go and see what they have to say. You first spend a good amount of period of time there. You look for the information there. You go to Google, you search the information, then you go, then even here you can go to the Central Market Authority where it's located. You can go exactly where they are, and then you ask them how these things operate. And then you can also look furthermore. You can look for someone who has invested in it, and then you understand how it operates. And you can go to the link also of the Ugandan stock market. If you go to YouTube, you go and type Ugandan stock market, shall bring you everything, all the companies which are listed, their shares, their price, how they have been operating across a given amount of years, and then you pick one which best suits your investment style and how you want to receive money in the future.
Right, before we even continue, if someone says watching you and they wanted your help, you know, in form of consultancy or knowledge just to take them through, basically, how do they find you?
Currently, you just have to find me via my number. My number is 0776 841 700. Or Team Joshua.
You want to do the number again?
The number is 0776 841 700 or Team Joshua.
Right. So because sometimes it's hard to study on the internet.
Yeah, it's quite hard.
Like you're going to type in and they're going to bring you a document like this, and you scroll. But it's easier when, you know, someone is talking to you, and you know you feel. Even now in the field that you're in, because if someone's like, now that one wants to steal my money, do you guys even, like, do you touch the money, or you just advise people and that's it?
No, we do not. That's the point. That's why we are not in the equation. Me, I'm just providing you this information. You're never going to give me any money. Do not give anyone your money.
That will do it for you.
No. There you have already lost in the part of investment. That's why the stock market is there as an exchange. Like you're giving someone to go to the market to go and purchase for you something. Yet you can go to the market
and
yourself
purchase it yourself.
You have created a middleman, someone in between you and the transaction of getting the thing.
So let's talk about deeply, you know, because there are people, you know, who go to, you know, national television and social media, and they're talking about all these things, and they've ended up duping people. And you've made it categorically clear that it should be information. You in consultancy and whatever you do, you're trading knowledge.
Yes. It's primarily, you know, before even you invest, the great investor Warren Buffett said, do not trade in anything you do not know. I mean, do not invest in anything you do not know. If you don't believe in something and you don't understand it, never put there your money. It's before that point, you have to reach a certain point when you have fully understood it. Just like when you are going to invest in a chapati, or you are going to buy a house somewhere, you have
tomatoes,
understood. Yes, even if you are going to put like a mobile money place, you have understood the place, how mobile money operates, and how you are going to benefit from it. It's the same with the stock market. You don't just go and put your money after hearing about this. There are even quite a number of companies in it, so even the selection of the company varies on the knowledge that you have and your specific investment type.
Right. So because someone is wondering, at where do I know? How do I know that, you know, their shares in MTN, their shares in Airtel, their shares in Stanbic Bank? Where do I get that kind of information?
There you go to the stock market exchange of Uganda. When you type on Google, Ugandan stock market, it shall immediately be the first one that it brings. Is the way you go and check through it. It shows all those details.
Ugandan?
And the Ugandan stock market exchange.
Yes, it's a website?
It's a website. Every country, even right now, you can invest in a Kenyan company. as you sit here right
What
now.
what do I need? What do I need to access that?
What more do you need? You need just to go there, put there your details, create an account with them, use your ID and all the verification processes, like you're creating an account with the bank basically.
Yes,
when you're
yes.
thinking about, just think about the process of creating an account with the bank, so that you're the authentic person, you're not forging or anything. Yeah, so that after that, then you can now proceed to purchase and invest in whatever stock market thing.
But are there people who have really made money from this thing?
Oh, there are quite a lot. And the problem is because their money is being achieved in a silent way, they are not all over the place.
And these are not people you find in the bar buying bottles.
Maybe they are there, but because their money is a little bit made silently.
Yes.
You know, like other people make their money in quite a way that generates a lot of attention. You're a musician, so people are like, oh, he's making money.
Yes,
but now for someone who has just put his money aside and it's being invested, many people do not fully see that, and that's, I think, half of the problem. They do not see, they want to first see the thing.
Like you can't quantify this.
Yeah, it's hard to quantify without use our eyes to quantify how things are going. You'd be like, oh, that guy invested in this kind of thing. He bought a Yaguze taxi and then he started putting them on Kampala. Now he has built a house. That investment is quite nice.
Yes.
Let me also go and follow in that lane. You always need that kind of information.
You know, you mentioned something that I wanted you to really throw more light on. You know, you're talking about what really is an asset and what is a liability, and what we have, you know, rudimentarily and generically known as investment, a car, investment, a house. You know, just throw more light, because people need to know. People are spending 10 million buying a phone.
No. Okay, an asset is something that generates wealth. Basically, just generates wealth. That's why a house is an asset, because you can put there people in rentals. It's going to generate wealth. And a liability is something that's taking money from you. It's taking money away from you. Yeah, something that you're going to have to continuously put money and start generating money. It's draining you of your income. So obviously, as a human being wants to get more money, you're trying to look for more assets and reduce on your liabilities. So it's so that you may generate more money. But then one aspect I want to talk about is, apart from the investment part where we are investing to generate wealth,
Yes.
because when you're investing money and you're buying shares, you're basically giving the company money to go and operate with. You're loaning the company money
It's like
to go and operate with. Then when they operate with the money and they benefit something, they give you a percentage of it continuously.
What if they don't benefit before you even continue?
No, that's why now the investment selection has to be rigorous, the process of selecting the company.
So there are chances that I'm going to buy shares in a company and lose money.
There are those chances. Everything has risk. There is risk attached. Whenever there's an investment, you have to know there is risk attached to it.
So there are chances that I'm going to go to a company as big. You know, sometimes because we hear, because, you know, you've seen this thing on TV, you've seen this company on radio, and you've had it on radio, and then you're like, let me invest, and then you end up losing money.
Yes, there's that
What
risk
do I
attached.
do at that point?
No, that's why I like bringing the example of, because this one is something that is not tangible. You cannot see it, and it's a little bit hard to understand. I like bringing an example of a chapati stall, something that you have seen.
Yes.
It's the same kind of process. You have invested your money there, but things may not work out. All your money you also face a lot of risk. They can steal your money. The person you have put there can disappear with your money.
Yes.
Anything can happen to it. Rain can come. If you haven't paid maybe some cases here, things,
they
can come and carry your things.
Vandalize you.
Now, yes, that is now the part of the risk. Every investment has risk attached to it.
Talking about that point of risk after the break, we talk about risk and how to mitigate it after the break. Do not go away. We are still live here on the continent's leading intellectual platform, The Desk. We'll take a moment and we return shortly. And welcome back. You're still live on the continent's leading intellectual platform, and we're broadcasting here at our home at Nakasero Hill, UBC headquarters, Nile Avenue. But guess what? You are on U24 television, and it's The Desk, and we're having a good time with Mr. Tim Joshua. This man, I'm telling you, he tells you anything finances, anything investment, anything economics, and we're here with him. We're understanding. But follow this discussion on our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And if it's Wednesday, It's all about the desk, folks. Now, if you know someone and they are not on TV, tell them that the desk has 10 minutes to go, and it's investment, it's economics, and we're talking about risks. You know, we talked about them before we went for a break, but you know, the possible risk, and how do we mitigate them now? Is that the point where I come to a professional?
That's the point where a consultant has to come through. Because whenever you're choosing something, you need to understand it fully. Maybe a consultant can provide more knowledge, but as yourself, as I stated before, you have to understand what you're investing in. You can't invest in something, a chapati thing or mobile money, without understanding the risks which are attached to it. And you can also, that's now in selection of companies which you want to invest in. But if you want a less risky investment, there are what are known as treasury bills and bonds. Yes. Those are ways of companies getting money from people, or the government getting money from people. There are times when the government is lacking money, or a company is lacking money. Take a company like Cipla, which is listed on the stock exchange. If it needs money to create a new drug, it can offer a bond to the public. They call it an offering because you're looking for people to buy that. Then they provide you that document, then you give them money. And then when the drug generates more money in the future, it has there's a certain interest attached to that.
Does that have a time frame to it?
Yes, they always have time frames attached to it, which are called maturity periods. That's when the contract has now matured. But the beauty of treasury bills and bonds is that if you have invested like 1 million and they give you a maturity time of 2 years, in those 2 years they're going to give you back the money as you put it, as you gave it to them. But during this course of period of time, you have been getting like 5%, 10% of the 1 million. So basically, you haven't made any loss, and for that one, it's backed by the company or the government, depending on who you have got it from.
Makes so much sense. Now, how do you know, these stock markets or financial markets affect or benefit the economy of a country? Let's say you know they are thriving. I don't know for Uganda. I cannot classify really if a lot of people are gravitating towards the stock market. But how does that benefit us?
The first thing it benefits, as I had stated before, is the company gets money to first do. And most of our employees are from those companies. You ask yourself, how many people does MTN employ? How many people does Airtel employ? How many people does Uganda Clay employs? How many people does Cipla employ? Now giving it that money there, you have provided the money to them to pay their employees, develop on their products. So even the products are going to develop. So in the end, it's going to develop the economy. It's going to boost the economy. And also other investors who are outside, when they see such a thing, like I stated before, I've been looking at the Kenyan Stock Exchange because it has been thriving quite well. It has been thriving quite, many people are investing in it. Even foreigners are like, oh, I can make money from here. A person comes and invests. Instead of a person coming to the country, most of our investors are usually, I believe, Chinese or Indian. And then they come and they set up institutions which also compete with us. Because a person sets up a warehouse or something that sells things. A Ugandan is also trying to do the same thing. We are competing for the same kind of thing. Then for him, since he has the advantage of being an outsider, he has acquired the things cheaply, we eventually end up losing, which is we are not benefiting ourselves as individuals and the country as a whole.
So what does government need to do then, you know, to make this, you know, more accessible in terms of knowledge? Then also adoption of culture, then also you know, for the youth to be more acquainted. Like, how does the government make this space more conducive?
The first thing I believe the government has to do is improve on the infrastructure of the stock market. Before anything is done, the infrastructure has to be improved because it's quite an easy thing to improve, and also the site that handles our things, it has to be improved. Because if you see for other countries, it's the reaction time and how it has been designed
on the website.
On the website, because most times people are going to view the website and understand. And if the website is already at a level that it is a little bit, you're not very sure about that. Then also education. Our education part has to be vamped up. It has to even that. You don't have to wait to go to university to acquire this knowledge. People in America, a 15-year-old is already saving money that is receiving and is putting it in very small stocks. Like it's just because you can even here in Uganda you can spend 5,000, 10,000 buying a stock just to understand the investment field. You know, you can, most of these things are about practice and experience. You don't just read about them and store the knowledge. You have to go on the field and on the ground and then you see, and then you invest, and then you see how it behaves. You're not going to invest first a large sum of money. You're going to first put something small and then you see how it goes through. Then when you see that you're getting returns in the future, when you get more money, you shall invest in it.
I understand. And you know what really is taking us, putting a wide gap or a wide range of gap between us and these kinds of things is the knowledge aspect of it.
The knowledge.
So what do you recommend that financial literacy should start as early as possible?
Very early. That one even should be done by the parents.
By the parents.
By the parents first. That part is too essential to be left to the schools. Just like your parent has to teach you discipline.
Discipline.
Even
Hygiene,
financial discipline should be part of the discipline part. How to handle money, and also the knowledge of where to put it and how to go about when you are going through. Because when you are going through these periods of low money and everything,
Do you think that culture, upbringing, society has contributed to our, gap between us and investment?
I think it's both culture and knowledge. It's culture and knowledge. Because I think culture eventually develops when knowledge keeps on coming through to people. But our culture, our investment culture is quite low. And whenever people talk about investments, most times it's building an apartment, which is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Even me right now, if I got the money to build an apartment, I would go for it because it's a more stable investment.
Yes.
But the amount of money you need for that thing and the rate of, they call it rate of return. When you're going to get the money eventually, you have to wait for tenants to come. By the time you have got back like your 500 million you used to build to buy the land and do that investment, it's going to be quite a long period of time. But this investment is a little bit, it can be yearly, 3 years, and since your money is a little bit less compared to the other people who are buying taxis and being able to set up all these things, and since you don't have the time, I believe the stock market and these other things will be quite favorable for such people in such class.
You painted a very good picture on, you painted a really good picture that investment has nothing to do with how much money you have, what class you're in, whether you're Muntu Awansi, whether you're so that should then inform people who are watching that I can invest in anything. All I need is the knowledge.
All you need is the knowledge. Knowledge, and then you have to keep growing your savings. Don't spend all your money and then at the end of the month you are left with nothing. You're going to start borrowing, which, as I stated, borrowing is a liability. Because you're going to have to pay a higher amount eventually at the end. Yet you could have been earning. You're supposed to be earning more. Your interests are supposed to be keep on increasing for earning.
So how should government or the stock market exchange itself, how do they make this information more available, more captivating, more youth friendly?
I think the word you're looking for, which I've used, which is right, is captivating. Because at a certain age, the way I've seen, a youth doesn't view certain things. Don't think about his future in the future. He's thinking about So the main thing is captivating. I'm using the word gamify, but try to make it more engaging to them. Him interested in it, which is unrelated to his future, just a way of interesting. Like I said, we talked about technology on this other part. Now technology is quite a very big thing. And in America, most of the people who are involved in the technology aspect, the people have eventually grown. They started loving technology at a young age, and it wasn't because they were thinking about the future. They were just, a person wants to create a video game, then he goes around and then he codes, then eventually has understood. By the time he's like 20, he can create a website, he can design these things, he has a startup, he's already he's inside it without that effort of I'm thinking about the future, like let me get rich.
It's not need driven.
It's not need driven. It's more, it's uneasy. It's almost a default setting.
I get what you mean. So Joshua, our time is really fast spent, under 30 seconds. How can people reach out to you? You want to read your number again and then your last remarks?
My name is Otim Joshua. The number is 0776 841 700. 076 841 700. My last remarks are going to be investment is very important for both an individual and a country to grow.
Amazing, amazing. That right there is Mr. Tim Joshua. He's brought an aspect that we had not really looked into, investment, but via stock markets, via financial markets. And you right there can do it with the little amount that you have. He's talked about a lot, treasury bills, treasury bonds, so much to talk about. But that right there is what we do on the desk. We leave you a solution every time we are here, and we leave when it's hot, like right now. Good night, good luck. May the good Lord bless this beautiful Uganda, for God and my country. Until next week, same place, same time, of course, same post. Ciao.